I know you're working in law, but what was the process like from like when you finished, when you actually started working?
All right, man. So basically, the way things usually go is, and like if you're like the luckiest person in the world, yeah, and you like do your degree, you do those 3 years. While you're in uni, you apply for your training contract, yeah, and if you get one, say like ideally you'd get one in your second year, yeah, and then you do your third year, like you say they recruit 2 years in advance, and you do your third year, then you do your LPC, which is just like the legal practice courses. So have you ever watched Suits?
Yeah, brief. I've watched like the first 2 seasons.
All right. Basically, so like you know how in America they have the bar. Yeah. And basically a lawyer there is just like a solicitor and a barrister all in one. Over here, it's split into 2. So if you want to go down the barrister route, you do the BPTC. If you want to go down the solicitor route, you do the LPC. Yeah, and that's something you do like straight out of uni, like masters, but not really. It's more like a tick box towards qualification. Yeah, and then after that, you do your training contract, which is 2 years long.
Okay.
Yeah, and like that's the hard thing to get. If you can get your training contract, that company will, if you do it at a big enough corporation, they'll pay for your LPC, which if you don't get one is about like what 16, 18 grand, something like that.
Wow.
So ideally, you want to get that sorted. But I'm an idiot. Yeah. So once you've done all that, you're qualified. Yeah. So from the first day of your degree, your bachelor's degree, to the end, the process takes about what, like, you're the mathematician. Yeah. What did I just say? Like what? 3 years, 1 year, 2 years, 6 years,
5, 6 years. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah. So like from the start to the finish, that's it. Yeah. But obviously I didn't do that. I was like I graduated and I was like, do I still want to do law? What do I want to do from here? Yeah. So it was for me, it was kind of like, so I started doing like grad schemes, like applications in like things outside of law, and then I was like, I've already sunk so much time into it. It's always almost like that, the sunk cost fallacy. Once you do it, you're like, I have to finish it. Yeah, but then I started applying for other things, and then I realized like I actually don't really want to do anything apart from law, which is fair enough. Like I'm in that position now where I decided to stick to. I'll finish it.
Makes sense.
So like, I mean, a shorter answer would just basically been I've been pissing about for like 4 years and I decided to take it seriously.
Yeah. This law seems like, because now that you explain it, I always thought you kind of like, get your degree, you apply for, like I know a lot of people that went to the law school, and I thought that was like, you do that for like a year, you do like, a training contract for like a couple of months or a year, and then boom, you're in the job. Like I didn't realize there were so many layers and so many. Like it sounds like you got to do so many applications as well. It's not like a straight process. It's like
yeah. So like basically, Bristol is different grading, and like so from Bristol, like if you go on LinkedIn and you see someone who went Bristol Law School, they're like future training here, future training there. It's like it's they like churn them out like crazy. Obviously, I went to like non-Russell Group uni, right? And it's just not this. Like I don't know. Like obviously, I'm just like guessing, but I guess your career is like another level. Because for us, it was like we had like one law fair here, one law fair there, and it was you just basically have to figure everything out your own. If you like care enough, you go make the effort. But nothing's really like put on in the sense that like, oh yeah, this is kind of how you should do it. So we never really had that kind of support. So what was your experience with like careers out there?
Yeah, for me, I mean, obviously I do engineering, and in Eng, I feel like I imagine it's similar for other unis, but because we're quite well funded within Bristol Engineering, we have like the ILO, as the Industrial Liaison Office, and they hand out like they just give jobs out for free. It's like any job you want, any internship you want. Our career service, they even have a self-sourced I can't remember what it's called, but it's like if you know a company, let's say like I don't know, Cars Limited, and they don't offer any internships, you can go through the uni and they'll pay you to do the job for free. Like, there are so many ways that Bristol just say, you know what, that irrespective of how good you are as a student, we're going to sort out your career and then call it a day. And I think a lot of Russell Group unis are similar, but I guess, like I haven't seen Kent, so I can understand how, and even other non-Russell Group unis, I see how they don't really have the resources for that.
Yeah. That's basically the sentiment. Like, everyone I've spoken to that like have gone to a Russell Group uni and did do law or whatever degree, really, they're like, yeah, we kind of get that support. And like, looking back now, it's something I should have really considered. Like, when I was picking, obviously, like, grades is a big factor. Like, my grades weren't like horrible. I could have like possibly I should have like Liverpool was one of my insurance like things. I went to the open day. Yeah, like I took the train there. The train delays for like 3 hours. Got there halfway through the day. It was chucking it down. I like looked around the city. There's bare football hooligans and all that because like it was one of those days. And I was like, no, I'm not going here. Done. I went to Kent. I saw like these fields are green and like it's just like rabbits everywhere, like nature, all that. I was like, yeah, it looks good. I picked it based on that. I was an idiot, but I mean, I don't regret my choice. Obviously, I had a great time. But like now, things would have probably been a lot easier if I went to a Russell Group uni. But you know what they say, like, it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I guess like, it's not like you're having not to throw shade at people who work in like retail, but at least you have a good job in the industry you want, and you can, you know enough to make the right steps towards getting there eventually. Yeah,
it's like if you can always figure things out. And like I'm not saying like I am in my position because I didn't get the support I needed. Like if I wanted it, I would have got it. And for what it's like, I know you've always taken up these things like SEO and all of that. That like helps like underprivileged, like poor colored kids basically.
Effectively, yeah.
And it's like I never really looked into these sorts of things now, and like since graduating, like I saw you've been doing it. I looked into it a bit more, and like I signed up to a few, and like the support you get from them is actually like crazy. Like you'd never think that people would dedicate like their time to fun things like this. So like having signed up to that, like you get mentoring, you get like coaching, you get all of that, which I should have ideally got from uni, but like at this point in time, it doesn't make a difference because you get it anyways. So just basically, like if I knew about it sooner, I would have done it. So like I'd encourage everyone to like look into these things, especially if you're like poor and black or brown.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, not to go too much into like race or social status and stuff, but for a lot of us, we don't. Like, it's one thing to not have access to opportunities, but it's another to not even know people who do.
Yeah, trust me.
I don't know. I imagine you're similar. We went through the same school, like St. Mark's, but I never knew anyone at St. Mark's who had any career outside of like, your parents are like bus drivers or cleaners. Like we're all kind of lower class, working class. I didn't even know you could be like, as far as I knew as a kid, like banking was just one thing. I didn't know about trading or back office, front office. Like even like I didn't even know that solicitors and lawyers were different until like you just said it, or until like a short. Like there are so many careers out there that you wouldn't even know about, let alone having the support to build your CV around that. It's just crazy how much we don't know.
I did my during uni. Every summer I'd go and do like work experience paralegaling at like just this high street firm, And then like after I met a few people, like after starting working in the city. I mean, I say work in the city. Basically, I do like file room work. Like it's just shit work. But like if you gotta start somewhere. I mean, I'll build up eventually. But it's like when you meet these people from different backgrounds, and like they've got these connections that like the work experience I was doing during summer is like nothing in comparison to the work experience they were doing. They were like doing what I was doing at like the highest level. And even, like, I'm sure we know, like, people from St. Mark's who were, like, considerably well off than us. And just because of that, they've got these connections from their parents and all of that. I mean, having taken advantage of, like, these schemes and whatnot, like, there's this one for lawyers, like, aspiring lawyers it's literally called aspiring lawyers, which, like, you'd be an idiot not to take that up. And once I signed up to that, basically, they'll review every application I put towards a law firm, like free of charge, just because like I applied to them and I was successful. So like now when like they'll like look through everything, they'll take out this stupid shit, they'll like they'll boost it until it's so much better, and like put me in a better chance, like better than to like have something I never would have had an opportunity to do before.
Yeah. That's the thing.
And this is all free of charge, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what I was about to say as well, because I saw a service, I can't remember what they were called, and it's like, for mentoring, events, etc., for like young, disadvantaged students. And it's like £100 for membership. I'm like, how are you reaching out to poor kids and then making them pay for it?
That's the thing, man. Like, if people are desperate enough for something, there's always a market for it. But it's like, it just seems so shady. I remember Michael was saying though, like, in his episode with you, he was like rare recruitment. Yeah. They'll take people who are literally just on the cusp. Like, they went to good uni, they got good grades, they like did all of that. But they just need that one little push. And they'll get there eventually, but rare, like, they just take these people and they'll just polish them up a little bit when they would have had, like, eventually got it anyway. Like, even this thing I was talking about now, like, I had to submit like a full-on application. They only take about like 100 people a year. And it's kind of like, the reason I got that is like, it comes down to like what I was saying earlier about like networking. Actually, I don't really think I went too much into that, but like, basically the reason I got into this in the first place is I met someone at work, and her mom's a legal coach.
Wow.
Yeah. And like, she went to like, her mom was like ex-lawyer, she's private school educated, like, lovely girl. And she helped me out. Like, she put me in touch with her mom, and her mom like basically took my application, flipped it around, and like, that's the only reason I got into this in the first place. So it's like highly inaccessible for the general public anyways. So it's like that's why I kind of feel like they help you, but they don't really help you, like, if you really need the help.
Yeah, that's true. I think one thing that's important, and I guess we'll go back in time briefly as well instead of talking about careers for the whole episode, but one thing that I value a lot more now is like, I guess, mentorship, because you don't really get that one-to-one support like anywhere really. And like, I really wish our school did more with like, I don't know if you remember in St. Mark's, I think it might have been end of year 12, early year 13, they started doing these like life after St. Mark's talks. And they brought in like a couple of alumni just saying like, yeah, I do English at uni, it's pretty cool. You know, I've done a few things. But no one's really like actually sat down with us and said, look, like, if you just apply for this or start doing that or have a look at this, no one ever did that before. Like, I actually went out of my way in uni to do it myself. Yeah,
man. That's the thing. Like, that was the thing about those life after St. Mark's talks as well. They bring in like uni students, but the end goal isn't to be a uni student. Like, St. Mark's just wanted to push you to that next level, and that's what these people want to do as well. They just want to put you to the next level and then mark it down as like, yeah, we did that. You know what I mean? Like, we need more. Like, our end goal is obviously like nice jobs, obviously, but no one. They never brought in like a full-on lawyer. They never brought in like a full-on engineer. Like, this is what I did, and that's what you should do. I don't know. What's your take on that?
No, I completely agree. Like, even me myself, I remember I wanted to be physics and maths, and then just somewhere along the line I thought, you know what, engineering's a bit more diverse, it opens a bit more doors, let me just do that. Like, even to this day, I've never met an engineer. I don't actually know. I mean, to some extent I know what the job is, but I've never like sat in a building or spoke to, you know, a senior engineer, and I don't actually know specifically like what they do in a day to day, what the prospects are like, what the growth targets are like. It's a lot of speculating and a lot of looking online. But it would be great to have.
Then, but how do you know you'll enjoy the job once you start doing
it? Who knows, man? That's the thing. Like,
that's why you got Diggy. You got to like find these mentors and whatever. That's what like LinkedIn's good for. Apart from like people are bragging about how they gave like some poor bastard like a job.
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, like, I put a lot of weight into like internships and stuff like that. But even get like, obviously you've graduated, it's too late now, but you don't really, no one told you before going in, like, by the way, make sure you apply for these internships in your second year, otherwise things are so much harder.
I can't. It's only, like, it's never too late, but it's also like it's just something you wish you knew, right? But like even now, when I apply for training contracts, I have to basically do an internship. Like, if I don't get one now, and I get one next year or the year after, I'll be like, what, like 24, 25 years old doing an internship. I can't. What could you do? I'll have to do like 2 weeks. Like, I'll be working. I'll have to take 2 weeks off just to go like intern in another firm in hopes of getting a training contract.
So, but I feel like law. Like, what's the average age of people that do the contracts anyway? I'd imagine it'd be a bit older than like 21, 22.
Yeah. Like, basically, I think no one really gets a training contract until like 20. Well, I mean, I said no one. Like, people, like, especially from Bristol or like Russell Group unis, they'll like steamroll the whole process, and like by like 24, 25, they're qualified. But like generally, I think the average is you're qualified by like 30.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm not too stressed, but I don't want to be that guy who qualifies at 30. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the earlier you get it, the better, I guess.
Yeah, but I did it like recently. I've maybe I'm just making excuses here, but I've caught myself saying a lot, like, when I'm at the end of my career, like, what, 60, who knows, it's going to be 70 by the time we're done, like 70 plus. But I'm not going to look back on my life and be like, I really wish I was practicing law like these 3-4 years longer than I did.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we are still in like our 20s, and like we do want to kind of take it easy. Like, if I qualify, I'll be leaving the office at like, what, 10 o'clock, like maybe even 12 o'clock. So like, I consider it like, is it really worth doing it right now?